everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're not. So for today's look, if you couldn't already tell, I'll be doing a tutorial on this side of the face. I took inspiration from an image from the Plouise Makeup Academy where it was like a brown smoky eye with a reverse ombre liner. So the eyeshadow goes as normal from light to dark this way, but then the liner goes from light to dark this way. And that kind of effect has been popping up around Instagram, but the first place that I saw it was the Plouise image that I took inspiration from for this look. Now ombre liner has been done an awful lot. It's something that I like to do as a quick but funky look, or like a rainbow liner, because it's kind of fun and different, but yet it's simple and it can be quick to do depending on how many colours you're using. So that has been something that I like to do, but I liked this twist on it and having it reversed. So I had started on this eye. I was just going to do the eye makeup and then do the eye makeup on this side and then finish the face. I just ended up completing the whole thing. So I'll give you a closer look at the eye look. So this is the eye look up close. This is the look that we'll be creating on this side, so as you can get a better look at the shadow and the liner. And when I was doing this side, I did run into a little bit of difficulty with the liner. I used the wrong kind of white eyeliner as a base. When it dried, it kind of dried in a way that it could flake off, and then I used the wrong brush to put on shadow over the top. I was using a brush where you would kind of do side to side motions and kind of just brush it on, but that was flaking off the liner and it was just a complete mess. So I ended up actually taking a spoolie and literally just flaking off the liner, and I ended up with a really sore lid. Well, not really sore, but like I had to give it a minute. So once I had it all flaked off, I just kind of touched up the little bit of shadow at the corner, and I started again with a different white eyeliner and then a different brush to pack on the colour. So I will say that just test whatever liner you're using as a base, maybe test it on your hand and just see what way it sets. Does it flake? Does it go hard? Does it stay creamy? Because that will affect your application. So now with all that said, let's jump into the look. I have literally nothing on this side of my face right here. And we're going to start with the eyes. So I'm going to take a little bit of Urban Decay's primer potion in the colour Eden, which is my go-to primer. The primer potion is my favourite primer for preventing creasing. If you have oily skin or oily lids, you'll find that eyeshadows and a lot of cream products will gather in the folds of your eye and just create little creases, and I find the primer potion the best to prevent that. And I'm also just going to take a little bit under the eye as well, because we will be applying shadow underneath there, but also the creases under my eye, just because of my eye shape, are a little bit deeper. Some people actually just don't have natural creases under the eye, so their shadow or their concealer doesn't really crease, but mine does. So I want to help prevent creasing under there as well. So that's giving me a nice base to work off of. The shade Eden is the one that has that kind of yellowy base skin tone colour. So then we're going to go on to brows. I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Medium Brown. And I'm going to try to stay in shot. So I'm basically going to sketch the shape underneath, starting from the front and just creating a straight line upwards. So for me, that means kind of starting at the roots of the hairs, and then as I get more into the body of the brow, I have to go underneath the hairs a little bit to keep it even. So I've also just extended the tail out a little bit at the end. And then I'm going to start taking that into the brow and beginning to shape the top edge of the brow. And then just using a light hand through the front, just doing more upward strokes. So I'm then going to take the spoolie at the other end and brush that product through, especially at the front where we want to kind of fade it out. And I'm not kind of brushing through at the bottom edge so much. I want to keep that clean. So I've brushed over the top edge and that has softened that. So I'm just going to go back in and add a little bit of definition. Okay, sorry if the lighting or anything has just changed. The card was full, so I had to take it out and take everything off onto my laptop and stuff. So we're back. So now that we have our brows coloured in, we're just going to clean up the underneath. So I'm going to use a little bit of the Collection Lasting Perfection concealer, in number 1. And I'm going to take that on a flat concealer style brush. This is the Sedona Lace EB11. And using the fine tip of the brush, we're going to trace underneath the brow. So that's making sure that your line underneath is nice and sharp. And then I'm also going to bring that down onto the eye as a base. So where a primer will stop your creasing, a base is going to give you that bit of colour and coverage, so you're having a nice clean canvas then to work on. And again, I'm going to take that under the eye as well, where we'll also be applying shadow. Now I am just going to take a little bit of a under eye corrector, so like a peachy colour. This is the NYX Dark Circle Concealer Corrector in the shade Medium. And I'm using that on a Sigma PA4, an angled fluffy synthetic brush. And I'm just pressing that on over where I get my darkness, so kind of right under the eye here and into the inner corner, kind of next to the nose, because that blueness or purpleness is coming through the concealer, and just casting a little bit of an ashy and bluey kind of tone. And then I'm just pressing over top with the original lighter concealer. So as you can see, we have a nice clean line under our brow, and we have a nice bit of coverage on the eye to pop our shadows over. So next, I'm just going to set that. I'm taking a large shadow brush. Not sure what this is. I believe it's from Crown BK something. Just a large flat shadow brush like that. And I'm going into my Kat Von D Shade and Light eye palette. The look will be based on this palette. I didn't say that at the start, but I will be using the shadows from this. So I'm taking the matte cream shade on that large brush. I'm picking it up so it's ready to go, and before I apply it, I'm just going to pat out any creases that have started to form, because I don't want to set those in. We want to set it with no creases. And then I'm going to take my eyeshadow. I'm not going to look up because I don't want to form any creases. I'm just going to pack that on over the lid and crease first to get that set. No. And then over the rest. So that's locking in that concealer and also helping to prevent further creasing. So now onto our colour. I'm going to start with this peach matte shade right here. And I'm going to be using a MAC 224. This is just a little mini special edition one. So I'm taking that on the tip of the brush, and I'm starting in the center with circular motions. Can you hear that tapping noise? Birds on the roof. So I'm working from side to side, and we're also going to start moving upwards. This is going to be the highest colour that you can see around the very edge. I'm also taking that under the eye. Again, it's the highest or lowest colour that you can see around the edge, so I'm taking it nice and low and making sure that they join at the corner of the eye. So we're creating more of a rounded shape. So then moving on to this reddy shade, again on the same brush, and again using the same technique, starting in the centre, using circular motions, but we're just not blending quite as high as that peach, but we are still blending upwards. And you want to make sure that you're not, your colour isn't too low on the inner corner. As you can see on this side, we will be cutting the lid so that it'll come up a little bit higher. So you still want your darker colours to be able to show through over that. So you want to keep that in mind with how low or high you're blending in here. So again, underneath. So you just keep adding more colour and keep blending until you're happy with the intensity. And then I'm just going to wipe off my brush a little bit and take a touch more of that peach and just again go around the edges to make sure that they're nice and soft, but to also make sure that you haven't lost your peach colour in your blending. And then we're going to take this warm brown right here. It's a dark enough warm brown, and again adding some more definition to the crease. And then switching to a little bullet brush and taking that same brown and again going under the eye. We just want to keep it a little bit tighter again to the eye. So I'm just making sure that's nice and dark up against the lash line. And then I'm going to blend that down. And making sure that they connect at the corner. So once you're happy with those shades and your blend, we're going to cut the lid. So we're going back to that flat concealer brush and the concealer that we used as a base. So I'm just coating my brush with that concealer, and again using the fine tip of the brush, we're just going to carve out a higher crease line. So you want to make sure that it's visible when your eyes are relaxed, looking straight ahead. So it's giving you more lid space and creating the illusion of a bigger eye. So I'm going to be looking straight ahead into my mirror just to try and make it symmetrical, or as symmetrical as possible. So I'm just getting that top line in and then taking more concealer on the flat of the brush. I'm going to pack that on underneath that. Basically blank out any shadow that came below that line. Now as I come towards the outside, I'm starting to use a little less product and a slightly lighter hand as I'm starting to fade it out, so that it starts really sharp and clean, but it starts to blend into the shadow out here. So then, like we did at the beginning, I'm going to pat out any creases and I'm going to set that with that matte cream shadow, cream coloured eyeshadow. So that it will stay in place. So going back to the blending brush, I'm wiping that off just to get off any excess colour. And we're going to start adding colour to the lid. So again, we're going to start with our lightest colour, which is the peach. And from the centre of the eye, you start blending that outwards. So we're keeping the inner corner nice and bright and making sure to take it right up to that new crease line. Then switching to the reddy shade and coming next to that peach, blend that in, and then finally that warm brown in the outer corner. And this is where it's kind of connecting into the original colours. So I'm blending on the lid and also into that original brown in the crease. So from there we're going to add a little bit of highlight, and I'm using a Morphe M210 brush. It's just like a short kind of thicker shader brush. And I'm going to start with the white from the palette and popping that into the inner corner and blending out just to make that area nice and bright, and we'll add a little bit of shimmer over the top. And the same with under the brow. I'm going to start under the arch, blend it out, and then I'm going to go to this shade right here, which has a little bit of sheen or shimmer to it. Take that up on the brush and then pack that on over top. It makes it that bit brighter and a little bit more reflective. So that is our shadow done, and now it is on to the liner. So I am going to be using Inglot's gel liner in 76, which is the white, and I'll be using that on an Inglot brush, the 23T liner brush. So I'm going to start with my wing and then come in onto the lid. And again, I'm going to try and stay in shot, but it is hard because I need to get close to my mirror and then I end up going out of shot, but just bear with me. And I'm also going to try and keep it symmetrical with this side. Okay, so that is about as far as I'm going to bring in the white. I then am going to switch to MAC's Soft Ochre Paint Pot. It's not a liner, but I wanted something that was more of just a kind of a beigey creamy colour. And I'm going to use that for the centre portion of the liner. And it's going to blend over the edge of that white. Okay, and then for the inner portion, I'm going to switch to a Collection gel liner. It doesn't have a number on it, but it's a brown. It's more of a warm brown, so it fits in with our colouring. So that's going to come from the inner corner and blend into the cream shade. And I'm just lightly feathering that into the soft ochre. We will be going over with some shadow anyway. So I'm going to switch to an angled brush. This is a synthetic angled brush, and it's a little bit thicker than I would normally use, because when I use an angled brush for like brows or liner, I want it to be super razor sharp at the end. Whereas here we don't want to, because I don't want to do too much swiping. I want to be able to kind of press it and stamp on the colour. So again, we're starting from the lightest colour, and I'm taking that matte cream colour eyeshadow, and I'm going to add that to the inside of the wing. So I'm not bringing it right out to the very tail. We're going to keep that nice and stark white, but we're just going to stamp it down to the inner half of that white. And it's not going to darken it terribly, just making it a little bit creamier. And pulling that in onto the soft ochre. From there, I'm going to take the colour next to it. It's just a really light taupe colour, and blending that again over the soft ochre next to that cream eyeshadow and into the brown liner. So that's going to start lightening that dark brown here. So that just helps create a nice blend and fade. So once you have like your white, a cream and a brown, or basically your light, medium and dark, then you can use a shadow just to blend the light and medium and blend the medium and dark. That's what I have found has worked best for me for this look. And then I'm going to clean off my brush because I'm going to apply some white to the waterline. So I'm going to take that same white gel on the now clean brush and apply that to my lower waterline. So next I'm just going to curl my lashes and apply some mascara. This one is Arbonne. It's a long story mascara. Don't know where I got this, in a gift bag or something. And just apply a quick coat, top and bottom. And then to finish off the eye, I'm just going to apply a lash. These are 2 pairs of 14s from Inglot stacked on top of each other. It's something that I started doing like with old lashes, like once I had a pair of 14s, or once I had 2 pairs of 14s that were kind of old and gone a little bit bitty, I'd stack them on top of each other so that they would fill each other out. And I really liked the effect, so I did it with 2 good pairs of 14s, and I like it even more because they're not so bitty and old. So that's something that you can kind of experiment with. If you have a few different types of lashes, you can stack them and create different looks. So I'm going to use the Duo brush on Adhesive with vitamins. Oh, I didn't know that. With vitamins in dark. Just brush that onto the lash band. I find it is an easier application than the squeezy tube, where you would either squeeze it and then use the top of the tube to apply it and just be careful, or squeeze it out onto something and use like a spatula to apply it. I find this is much easier, but I don't feel like it has the same hold, the same like super strong hold, and it does dry a lot quicker. So maybe I'm just leaving it dry a little bit too much before I put it on, but it is nice and quick to apply and also to dry. It dries really quick. And then just pop those on. Just being careful to stay super close to the lash roots and not so much on the lid, because we don't have like a dark black liner that will hide the lash band. So that completes our eye look. So it's onto the face finally, so I can stop looking so crazy. So I'm first going to take the Inglot HD Yellow Primer, and this is going to take down any redness in my skin, and also it has slight mattifying properties, so that's good for me as an oily skin person. And I'm using that on an angled, I think it's a contour brush from Primark. It's the PS range. And then I'm using my Estee Lauder Double Wear Maximum Cover foundation in Creamy Vanilla on the same brush. And then just to get close against the top of the brow, I'm going to take the foundation on that flat concealer brush so that it mixes in with whatever concealer's left on it from before. Just so I can get right up close to the brow without going into it. And then taking the Collection Concealer in number 2 and using that under my eyes, not as like a major highlight or anything. Just to make sure that we're covering any darkness and just slightly brightening. And then I'll just take a little bit of the peach on my blending brush just to make sure that that edge stays nice and blended and the colour isn't removed too much with the concealer. Then taking a big powder brush, this is from Real Techniques. I'm using this Ben Nye powder palette and I'm taking this yellow shade and I'm just setting my foundation with that. And then I'm going to take the Morphe E3 brush and the Rimmel Sun Bronze 22 bronzer. And it's going under the cheekbones and around the hairline and a little bit under the jaw. And then going into the Sleek Face Contour Kit in Light, I'm using the contour from that and just sculpting that out a little bit more. For my blush, I'm using maybe my very favourite blush. This is Suede from Sleek. And then for my highlight, I'm going into the Sleek Solstice highlighting palette. And I'm going to take that large shadow brush that I used to set the eye. And we're taking this shimmery peachy shade here. That's just going on the tops of the cheekbones. And I'm then just going to do my lip so that I can look a little bit more normal. This is the Revlon Colour Stay Lip Liner in Nude. And then this is the Tarte lipstick from the Rainforest of the Sea collection in Beach Bum. This is just a mini one. Then for my nose, I'm going into the L'Oreal Infallible Sculpt contouring palette. It's a cream contour and highlight. I just like the contour from it. And I'm first going to take it on that angle brush that I was using for the shadow on the liner. Just going to wipe that off so it's clean. Just creating a straight line on the side of the front of my nose. And then you want a parallel line on the other side. Then I'm just gonna do little flicky motions to blend it down. And then I'm just gonna take a little synthetic blending brush and a little bit of that product. And I'm just gonna focus it on the areas where these very flattering lights are highlighting kind of the wider parts of my nose. Slimming that down. What I like about this product is the colour is nice and cool toned, but it's not too dark. It's actually nice and light, and it is also nice and creamy, so it blends really nicely. And then I'm going to come in with my foundation brush and just push over the top. I don't want to move my lines around too much, but I do want to soften them. And then back to the highlight, just taking a little bit on the tip of the same highlighting brush. Down the center of the nose. And we'll go on the Cupid's bow as well. So that is the finished look. I'll zoom you in so you can get a better look at the eyes. So it's a really cool, funky take on a neutral eye, and it's nice and dramatic without being too crazy. So that is it from me for today. Again, I apologise about the changing lighting, but there's not a whole lot I can do with that. I am looking into getting a different lighting situation, so hopefully that will improve shortly when I can get them. But anyway, I hope you liked the look and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, don't forget to give a thumbs up by clicking the like button that's down below, and also subscribe while you're here. I'd love to have you on board. If you're interested in any of the products, I will have a full list of those on my blog, and I will have a link to that down in the description box as usual. So thanks again guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.